Greetings, humans. It is I, Lord Bael, here with an EP review for the new release from Johari. Not Johari Window. And this is a self-titled EP. 6 tracks, falling somewhere within the range of metalcore. So let's dig right in. So my first impressions of the EP are that it's certainly a more focused and tight-knit release than the previous EP had been. This release finds Johari being much more comfortable with a singular sonic sound and not trying to deviate and try all sorts of new things with it. They obviously know what they want to sound like, and they pull what they want to sound like off very well. The recording quality is top-notch on this. On their previous release, the guitars were lost in the mix, and the bass was lost in the mix, and the vocals were too loud, and the drums were kind of scattered. In this, all of the pieces are fitting exactly where they need to be, and the mix as a whole is benefited by that. While the bass isn't especially pronounced, you can feel it in those low frequencies, and it rounds out the mix. The guitars sound the way that they should. They're nice and bright and chunky. The vocals lay within the mix and they're not stacked on top. The drums, I believe, are programmed, but they sound real enough to where you don't really notice it, especially for being a metalcore release. The writing on this release is also more focused. While they're not trying to break any new boundaries within metalcore as a genre, they're certainly showing some of the best metalcore writing that the area has seen in a while. And while people who are tired of breakdowns will probably not find this release anything special, those of us who still enjoy the nostalgic, open, palm-muted breakdown will certainly find something very nice here on this release. While there's no bad tracks per se, the standouts are certainly tracks 1, 3, and 6, so as you listen to the EP from start to finish, it keeps your interest moving and it reinvigorates you as a listener as you go through. I hate to say it, but probably the best track on the album is the opener, Fluttershy is Best Pony. Everything about the track just works. The heavy parts are heavy, the clean parts are good, the writing flows, it doesn't feel like parts are just kind of tacked in sequentially. I find myself at work humming the chorus constantly, and I guess if that's a note of anything, it's that it's memorable. Track 3, Zealot, is certainly attempting to be one of the heavier tracks on the album. They bust out 8-string guitars, which is unique for this band. And they don't just rely on the 8-string to be the bow, 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 bow. While they do bow a little bit. Specifically, there's a part where it sounds like they're about to just, down, ticka down, down, ticka down. But then they start bringing it up. They go bow, ticka bow, ticka down, ticka down, ticka down. And it goes back into the chorus. It's a nice touch and a nice twist on something that could have been overly generic. The final track, Douche Canoe, is also one of the heavier and more aggressive songs on this release. It's a pity because it's also pretty short. It clocks in at about 2.5 minutes of actual music, and then there's about 30 seconds or so of outro kind of ambience. Also, the final track has Connor Hill singing in Latin, which is, kind of neat. Which brings up another highlight of the album. Connor Hill's vocals have improved tenfold from the last release. While his lows or growls still leave a little to be desired, his clean singing is phenomenal, and his mid-screams and highs are also very well executed. He's obviously very comfortable with his scream yell, and it shows, and he uses that as his primary vocal technique on this release. Again, his singing is excellent. Good use of melody, lots of memorable hooks, very catchy. It's very refreshing to see a local Louisville band within the metalcore genre doing cleans so well. A couple of my complaints with the release would be that while Connor Hill is using his vocals very well, he's also an accomplished pianist, and that isn't utilized at all on this release. Not that I'm saying that it definitely needed to be done, but it's a shame that they didn't utilize it. None of the songs really push into new or uncharted territory for this metalcore idiom. You've got a lot of familiar sounds. You can kind of predict where the songs are going to go. It's just not an overwhelmingly excellent release. However, it is still very solid and enjoyable. When making notes for this, I had a hard time finding specifically bad things to note. The release is just generally good. Not excellent, not outstanding, but good. In summation, this release is certainly focused. Johari has established a clear identity of what they want to do and how they want to sound, and they've executed that phenomenally. They exude a certain confidence with this release. I'm thinking it's a 7.5 out of 10. I'll be excited to see where the band takes this new focused sound on their next release. As always, I'm Lord Bael. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.